We're back covering Fortnite's most loved skins of all time, and to kick it off, number 1 is the Apple lawsuit skin. Okay, so we ran some polls instead, and we got the community to put together basically what they think is the best skins in the game. Let's see how accurate the results are, starting with Midas. This guy is our main man for almost everything in Chapter 2 so far, especially in the earlier seasons. Midas was the leading character and even got his own live event, which you can't say for many Fortnite skins. A lot of fans absolutely adore Midas because of his storyline ties and the way that he brought us all together to watch the Device event. And while people really appreciate that, a lot of the time Midas' love comes down to 2 things. The first of which is the fact that he straight up has superpowers that no other skin has. He changes every item he touches into gold, and I mean, well, it sure looks like cheese. It's still a really sick ability. Marigold also has this ability, but the second reason is why people love Midas way more. He has multiple styles, and he was originally a Battle Pass skin, so a lot of people have him, and a lot more apparently love him. And while Midas was the main man of Chapter 2 for a while, it turns out the main man of Fortnite is quickly becoming Peely. When Peely first came out, this guy was one of the first ever meme skins. I mean, there weren't many wacky or weird skins at the time, and the community absolutely loved the idea of a walking banana. Eventually, Peely has earned the right to stay in the list of people's most loved skins, as he's had a ton of new variants with more to come, which means he does sell well apparently. He has become so popular with fans that Epic decided to make an origin story for him, and he's been included in almost every single season trailer since Season 8. Whether it's insulting Jonesy in space, being turned into a smoothie, or being blown up by Hadouken, he's become iconic in the community. And while he's got a ton of styles, the same can't be said for Drift. A ton of the community absolutely loved Drift, despite the fact that he was a Battle Pass skin all the way back in Chapter 1, Season 5. Even after all these years, Drift is still loved by a huge amount of people, and there's actually a lot of reasons for it. The first and most obvious reason is that the community simply loves his design. His whole vaporwave color combo and outfit is so cool, and he has a really nice aesthetic. And while that's a big part of it, Drift also has ties to our own world. If you remember, he was actually just a regular dude on Earth until he got a little too close to that Durr Burger in California and was turned into a Battle Pass skin. More you know. And so to this day, he is still loved by a lot of people, but maybe not as much as Fish Stick. He can't hate on it, he's just a lovable guy. While Peely was wacky, the community agrees that Fish Stick is one of the goofiest skins out there. He has such a derpy face, and yet he's just so popular with people. A lot of the community think he's like adorable and the perfect embodiment of how cute and fun Fortnite is. He's also got himself into the main cast of Fortnite just like Peely, and it goes to show players just love silly skins, and Fish Stick has a ton of alternate styles because of it. I mean, look at this. Only Fortnite can have characters this ridiculous, and yet they get into our most loved list. It's amazing. But not all skins are loved just because they look cool, which brings us to Iconic. I don't think many people would expect someone like Iconic to be on this list because not a lot of people actually own him. But even then, the community has made it pretty clear that they really love this guy. I mean, for starters, he's inspired by the K-pop group iKON, and he has an emote based on their song Love Scenario. And while many iKON fans love the skin, a lot of non-K-pop fans also really like Iconic. And that's for a pretty simple reason. He's actually incredibly rare. He was a Samsung exclusive, and that was a big deal back in the day. Before him, we had the massive hype of the Galaxy skin, where people rushed into stores to get the skin from demo phones, and Iconic was apparently up next. People wanted him badly. And since Iconic became discontinued, a lot of the community have been keeping him on their most loved list, and it's not surprising. What could be a little surprising is the inclusion of Calamity. Back in Chapter 1 of Season 6, she was the absolute talk of the town. As the Tier 100 skin, she already had a lot of attention on her, but a few hours after she was released, something much more interesting was revealed. This made her one of the most infamous and controversial Fortnite skins out there, and you already know I'm talking about the Jiggle Physics. Some people were absolutely outraged at this, but most of the community thought it was kind of funny, and because of how much attention she got, a lot of people realized that they liked her skin just for its design. It had a ton of styles with different colors, and it was really customizable. And so to this day, she's one of the most loved Tier 100 skins out there. But of course, speaking of Tier 100s, you can't forget about Iron Man. I mean, come on, it's Iron Man. He's one of the most famous and loved superheroes of all time, so it makes sense a lot of the community have put him on their best skins list. And during Season 4, he was the superhero of the season. I mean, we all thought the glory would be on Thor or Wolverine, but Iron Man took it every step of the way. The guy was Tier 100. He had an entire chunk of the island for himself, and he was the main character in the Galactus event. No wonder the community loves him. But I think a lot more people would agree with Meowscles. He's yet another one of those random, weird, but lovable skins. Meowscles is absolutely adored by the community because, well, he's a giant walking cat. Somehow they made a cat ripped as heck, and he still looks so adorable and absurd. And once the community found out Meowscles had a kid, everyone loved him even more. Anyone who's followed Fortnite's storyline or enjoyed Season 2 seems to be a big fan of Meowscles, and we gotta agree. But things get even more interesting as we get to Harley Quinn. And I know what you're thinking, which Harley Quinn? I mean, honestly, any of them really. We've seen a lot of DC characters come and go in Fortnite, and while some stick, some don't. You just can't say it for Harley Quinn, though. She's by far one of the most loved DC skins of all time. The community simply love her design and how accurate the skin is from the movies and comics. From the Rebirth version to the Task Force X one, she's loved across the board, and the community is very vocal about it. And it looks like even more versions of her on the horizon, too. Donald Mustard even included her as a main character in the Fortnite comics. But another crossover character that isn't getting as much recognition is Chun-Li. Because Epic Games has moved on from Chun-Li and onto other Street Fighter skins, the community has decided it's giving her some love instead. Chun-Li is high on a lot of people's lists, and it's because she's one of the most famous Street Fighter characters out there. A lot of fans also love her costume and emotes. I mean, her built-in arcade emote is really unique and helps sell the skin. But it seems like nowadays, probably the biggest thing that sold Chun-Li was the tightness of her clothes. I mean, let's just say Fortnite put the curvy meter a little too far on this one, you weirdos. But hey, a lot of people love her because of it, so I guess it worked. Still kind of weird though. Jokes aside, we have to talk about Deadpool, who's up next. I mean, this guy was one of the first ever Marvel crossover skins, and he was also the first crossover to be a secret skin. And so because of that, he had his own area of the battle pass. I mean, basically Deadpool made history, okay? We never really had those fancy lobbies before, and when Deadpool was spotted in that bathroom of the agency, people loved the way Epic did it. He even had a secret minigame on the computer, and all that paired with the fact that people just love Deadpool for being, well, Deadpool. It's no surprise he's high on fans' tier lists. But crossovers aside, the real love comes with our next few skins, starting with Bright Bomber. While some people might be shocked to see her on this list, Bright Bomber was the face of Fortnite before Jonesy was even around. Back in Save the World, Ramirez was the star that transferred over with Bright Bomber. A lot of the community think that Bright represents Fortnite and is a side mascot of the game, especially with her pickaxe and set. It is arguably the most famous pickaxe in Fortnite. In fact, it was in the Free Guy movie that just came out. That's how iconic this thing is. Bright Bomber even led the free Fortnite campaign when she threw that exact pickaxe at the screen. But as we narrow down our skins, we have just a few left who are some of the most loved and desired skins in the entire community, such as Marigold. Now, we mentioned Midas earlier in this video, but with the love of his skin, we also have the love of his female counterpart, Marigold. While they share the power of the Golden Touch, Marigold actually has extra features. A lot of the community love her because she's based on a very popular concept that was adored by fans, and she eventually released with challenges, V-Bucks, and edit styles. Marigold also turns more golden with every elimination, turning fully gold at 6 kills. You gotta admit, a lot of players absolutely love this feature, and it's why she's up here alongside with Midas. Both of them are loved pretty equally, but of course everyone has their preference. You know, I like Midas better, but it's okay. Something the entire community won't stop talking about though is, of course, Travis Scott. Travis Scott is by far the most desired and talked about Icon Series skin in Fortnite history. Not only did he have one of Fortnite's most loved live events, but his skin was only released for a tiny amount of time, and as we all know, the community loves when a skin is rare. With Ariana Grande's amazing concert recently happening, a lot of people have been comparing them, and while they're both incredible in their own ways, it was inevitable that people would use Ariana to beg for Travis Scott's return. His skin still hasn't come back, but maybe one day we'll see it, who knows? But now we've gotten to the #1 most loved Fortnite skin of all time, and who better to end it with than Jonesy. Every single version of Jonesy tops our list. This man is literally the face of Fortnite, and we could have pinpointed a specific type of Jonesy because people all have their favorite. Also, doesn't help that there's like 40 versions of Jonesy, but the main ones were the original default Jonesy, Ancient Jones, and a few more. But because he has so many skins, like I said, everyone in Fortnite could find something that they love. Jonesy has been with us from the very beginning, and the community will never stop loving this guy. Which version is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you disagree with our list, let me know down in the comments. You know, it's a discussion or whatever. It's been Tommy. Keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.